Okay, everybody, here we're going to create a frame animation. We're going to talk about basics in Photoshop. So here's a frame animation I made. I have 27 animation frames, and I'm just going to hit the space bar and play it. Biddy-doo. And I'm just letting it loop in a forever mode so you can see it over and over again. But you can see this is my timeline of all my frames, and these are the layers I created right here. And they were hand-drawn using a drawing tablet with a little gradient in the background. Okay, let's create a file to create your own animation. So here, just go to New File, create a file. I do about a 10 by 8 at 150 resolution, and hit Create. Okay, with that set up, I want to go into my window and make sure I have my layers, navigator, whatever I like, and my timeline set up. So again, make sure you have your timeline set up. You'll be using that soon enough once your layers are done. Now let's create some layers. You have to have a little theme. Think about this as a flip book. You want to create some type of visual action happening in this. So have fun with some simple shapes at first. I'm going to create a new layer just by clicking here. The layer palette. And that new layer will be my first layer, and I'll have a background layer set up there. I'm going to pick my brush. I'm going to draw something, any color I want, so I can pick any color for my drawing brush there. I'm just going to stick with black. I can pick any type of brush I want here in this area. I can change my hardness or my softness of my brush. So in this case, it's going to be like a Sharpie. And I'm going to start drawing my first frame. So I'm going to make a ball bouncing. So I'm going to draw a circle. Doesn't need to be perfect. So my first frame is done. That's how I'm going to start. So the next thing I'm going to do is my next layer, or it's called my next frame, but my layer 2. I'm able to see layer 1 and layer 2 because the eye is on. Now, I want to go to layer 1, and I'm going to bring its opacity down so it doesn't interfere with the new drawing I'm doing. So I'm going to bring it down to about 30%, so it's grayed out. And then I'm going to go to the new layer, and I'm going to make this ball move. I'm going to make it move up. So I'm going to draw the ball again, but a little higher than it was last time. How close you put your drawing actions together can create smoother or more choppy results. And I'm going to do a little motion line there, like I see in cartoons. I'm just going to keep going now. I'm going to go to layer 3. I'm going to dim down layer 2, and I'm going to do the same type of thing. And if I make a mistake where I accidentally drew on the wrong layer, I can just go to Edit, Undo, and make sure I'm on the correct layer. That will happen to us sometimes where we won't click on the correct layer. And again, followed by another action line. I'm going to make it look like a ball bouncing up. And I'm going to start doing some more interactions. Be spontaneous, have a little fun when you're starting learning about animation. So here I go. You'll see me repeating these steps over and over again. I'm going to introduce more circles into it, and they're going to actually collide. So every time I do a new layer, I am graying out the last layer so I can focus on what the new animation layer is doing. I'm putting in some action lines, very cartoonish, making them smack together. You can always review one layer compared to another layer and keep playing with that. But again, it's following the same repetitive action. You're creating a new layer that's creating a new movement compared to the last layer. And I'm going to go here till I'm satisfied. I'm going to have these balls fly off the page, and my animation will be completing there. Now, let's talk about using copied layers. Every new layer I brought before was a brand new layer on a blank canvas. Well, what if I want to keep something that I originally drew? For example, I'm going to write a word called chain reaction. So on this new layer, after the balls have left the image, this layer is going to have the writing chain reaction. So I wrote the C and the H basically, but then I clicked and dragged that layer to copy it. That way the C and the H stay on there and I don't need to redraw them on the next layer. Now I'm going to continue the word because I'm going to use this as part of the animation as well. I think I'm going to try to do 2 to 3 letters at a time. Again, I'm going to copy that layer, throw it in there. I can shut off. I don't have to dim these layers. I can just basically shut off because I am copying. And I'm trying to have the animation have the same type of flow. So I'm doing about 2 or 3 letters per new layer I'm doing. You can see my layer is keeping those previous letters on because I'm copying. We'll just finish this up. I'll do some action lines. It's kind of like an end credit to the illustration or the animation. And I'm done. Okay, now I've completed all my layers that are going to be my animation here for my frames. I'm just turning them all on. I can actually glide over that with my mouse, but I'm doing them individually. And you can see all the chaos I created. But one thing to note is I did dim or lower the opacity of a ton of my layers. I do have to go back now and bring them all back to 100%. So because I don't want them to stay gray when I have the animation. So I have to make sure that I bring them back to 100% boldness as I go through here. Yes, I could have sped up this part of the video. But we're almost there. You can see as you're seeing them bolder and bolder, they look very chaotic when you see all the animations on the video surface at once. So it's always good to double check to make sure that you're getting everything you want out of your animation. Okay, well, with everything checked out and that completed, let's make a frame animation. So the last major step here is we're going to take all these layers and I'm going to basically uncheck them all in a second. So what I want to do in my frame animation, first of all, I'm just going to click and drag up so I unselect or deselect all my layers. I'm going to scroll down, go to layer 1, where I've had my first animation. I'm going to make that highlighted. I'll go here and make sure I hit create frame animation. I'm going to double click on that, and that allows that frame to be seen right there. And then this little drop down menu here, I can click make frames from layers, and now it's going to propagate them or put them in here. And now I actually have all my pictures lined up. If I click my background on, I will get that white background restored. So I'll just make sure the eye is visible and highlighted there. If you don't see it, we can you hold the shift key, highlight all the layers there. Now here, I have them set to 0 seconds. So this is a very fast, quick animation. It takes about 3 seconds for that to go. If I want it to go slower, I can change it to 0.1 second. But if I want that everywhere, I can go to each individual layer and change it to any interval I really want. But if I want it to affect all the layers, I don't have to do these individually. I can actually hold shift and highlight all of my layers, and then when I change one of them, it changes all of them. Okay? And if I want one layer to be last a little longer than others, then I can individually allow that layer to be different. For example, where it says chain reaction at the end, maybe I want that to hang out for half a second, so it kind of holds the end credit. And I'm just going to hit the space bar to play, and there's my animation. The last thing I'll show you is if I wanted to put some color in this, a quick way to do that is I can click on my background, which is white right now, and I can click my gradient tool, and I can create, I'd like to create a lighter center and a darker outer part. So I'm going to use this more sphere gradient here. And I'm going to pick two colors. I think I'm going to go with white and kind of a deep, kind of brownish or bronzy red right there. Let's see how that looks. So I can preview it by, again, going back and hitting the space bar and see how my animation looks. Gives it a little bit more pow, a little bit more interest. So you just created an animation here. It's called a frame animation, and you can take as many slides or layers as you want to create it, or as few as you want. All right, good luck, everybody, and thank you so much for watching this video.